Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Mötley Crüe discography ranking, going through all of their studio albums from number 9 to number 1. So let's get started. My least favorite Mötley Crüe album of all time, and by the way, before I even get started, I don't think Mötley Crüe ever released a bad album. I think they're all really good. I even like their grunge album, and we'll talk about that later. But in my opinion, my least favorite Mötley Crüe album, coming in at number 9, is Theater of Pain. It's just... my problem with this album, it is just so repetitive to the point where I don't even need to hear it anymore. Because these songs repeat so much, and it bothers me. Sometimes it works, and it's actually a catchy song that I can come back to, like Home Sweet Home. That's my favorite song off this album. But the rest of it, I never need to hear again. Because you got the City Boy Blues, Smoking in the Boys' Room, which is a cover, Louder Than Hell, Keep Your Eyes on the Money. I'm sorry, Keep Your Eye on the Money. Tonight We Need a Lover, Use It or Lose It, Save Our Souls, Raise Your Hands to Rock, Fight for Your Right. Just a very repetitive album, and it just... whenever I listen to this thing, I tend to lose my sanity, because it repeats so much. So I don't ever come back to this album, other than to hear Home Sweet Home. That's about it. I don't like anything else after, on this album. So, coming in at number 8, I'm gonna go with Generation Swine, which was, I think that was like during the popularity of masks, which is why you see pig mask on it, because it seemed like every band around that time was wearing masks. You had the Slipknot, Mushroom Head. I'm sure there are other bands that wore masks, but, you know, that seemed like a trend back then. But anyways, I actually like this album a lot. You've got Find Myself, Afraid, my favorite song off the album, Flush, Generation Swine, Confessions, Beauty, Glitter, Anybody Out There, Let Us Pray, Rocket Ship, A Rat Like Me, Shout Out to Double 97, and Brandon. Now, some of these songs were not actually performed by Vince Neil on vocals. They actually let the drummer sing a song, they let the bassist sing a song, and yeah, they're okay. They're all right. They're not the greatest singers in the world. I think for the songs, it kind of works with their vocals, but I don't know. I'm mixed about it. I think I'm really mixed about their vocals. I think they're okay. They're not my favorite things in the world. I kind of just wish Vince sang the whole album instead of letting the other people sing. But yeah, that's about it. Shout out to Double 97. I mean, it's all right. I'm not sure why they remade that song. It was perfect the first time. I think that's... I don't know. I don't really listen to the 97 version that much. I've never heard Song to Slit Your Wrist By. I don't think that's on Spotify. But it is on the Japanese edition bonus track. The Japanese edition. I've never heard Song to Slit Your Wrist By. I don't think that's on Spotify. I've never heard the song... I've never heard the song Song to Slit Your... I've never heard the track Song to Slit Your Wrist By. I've never heard the track Song to... that is a tongue twister. I have never heard the track Song to Slit Your Wrist. I cannot say that thing. Why is that name so difficult to say? I've never, ever heard the track Song to Slit Your Wrist By. That's a Japanese edition bonus track, and I've never heard it before. Maybe it is on Spotify. I don't ever remember seeing it, though. Okay, so coming in at number 7, New Tattoo. You know, honestly, this album's kind of underrated if you ask me. I don't really see many people talking about this album, but I think it's great, you know? You got Hell on High Hills, New Tattoo, Drag Strip Superstar, First Bait on the Moon, She Needs Rock and Roll, Punched in the Teeth by Love, Hollywood Ending, Fake. I'm not gonna say that name, but I think you know it has to do with a certain star, adult star. I'm not saying the other word because YouTube. White Punks on Dope, which is a cover. And yeah, you know, just a very solid album. But I don't really see many people talk about this album. Kind of underrated. I'd probably go with New Tattoo is my favorite song off this album. And it's a very catchy album. It's got some great riffs. I think the instrumentation on all the Mötley Crüe albums are great, so I don't really know what to say other than the solos are great, the drums are great, the bass is great, everything about the instrumentation is great. Now, Vince Neil's vocals on this thing, they're pretty good. Vince isn't like the greatest singer who ever lived or anything, but yeah, his vocals are pretty good on this thing. I don't think they're as great as his vocals on like the early stuff, but yeah, they're still pretty good right here. Now, I am very scared to hear his vocals on the new stuff they're writing, because you see that dude live, him trying to sing, ooh, it's bad. And then you hear some of the demos. If you ever heard the demos from any of the 80s albums, it sounds bad. Like, really, really bad. I don't know how they made his vocals sound better on the actual songs than the demos, but on the demos, that dude sounds like a dying cat sometimes, and it's rough. So yeah, New Tattoo, that's coming in at number 7. Okay, so coming in at number 6, Saints of Los Angeles. That's what I'm gonna go with. And again, another underrated album. I think this is the strongest one since their 80s stuff. Well, actually, I take that back. I forgot about one album. With the exception of one album, this is the strongest since their 80s stuff. You've got songs like Face Down in the Dirt, Saints of Los Angeles, A Certain Person of the Year, The Animal in Me, Welcome to the Machine, Just Another Psycho. That's my favorite track off this album. Chicks Equal Trouble, This Ain't a Love Song, White Trash Circus, Going Out Swinging, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I'd probably go with Just Another Psycho is my favorite, because that's just a very catchy song, but the whole album is very catchy. It's got some of my favorite guitar work on a Mötley Crüe album from after their 80s stuff, not talking about that other 90s album, which we'll get to there, but yeah. I'm a huge fan of that album, by the way. I probably shouldn't have said that early, but I'm a huge fan of it. Anyways, I think this is just a great album, and definitely check it out. If you never listened to like the later Mötley Crüe stuff, definitely check this album out, because it's pretty solid. Actually, I'd say it's strong. This one's stronger than the other one, so it's strong, not solid. Sorry about that. But yeah, I love this album. Okay, so coming in at number 5, Too Fast for Love. The very first album. I do like it, and I think it's great to this day, but comparing it to their other track listings, it doesn't really stack up there in my opinion. You've got Live Wire, that's an amazing song. Public Enemy number 1, Take Me to the Top, Merry Go Round, which I never need to hear again. Piece of Your Action, Starry Eyes is okay. Stick to Your Guns, Come On and Dance is very repetitive. Too Fast for Love, very repetitive. A lot of these songs are just very repetitive, and I think after like hearing them once, I'm like, okay, I never need to hear that again. But I do love it, because when it has some of the best Mötley Crüe songs on it, and it kind of like brings it up from kind of the weaker songs. So that's why it's at number 5. It's kind of like at the halfway point, because yes, half of this album is really good, the other half is because there's some songs on here I'd never need to hear, but there are other songs I don't mind hearing. I actually like a lot of those songs, so that's why it's at number 5. And like I said, I love the drummer for Mötley Crüe, the guitarist, the bassist. It's all great, and Vince Neil sounds amazing here. He sounds amazing on the 80s albums. It's some of that later stuff where he starts to kind of sound, ooh, what happened? But on the demos, he sounds really rough, so I don't know if they like did something to his vocals in the studio that made him sound better, or what, but... Okay, so number 4, Girls, Girls, Girls. I love this album. It was my favorite Mötley Crüe album for a very long time, but now I kind of like other albums more. But I still love this album. It's got some of my favorite Mötley Crüe songs on it, like Wild Side, the title track, Dancing on Glass, 5 Years Dead, All in the Name of, Something for Nothing, You're All I Need, which I actually really love that song. I know some people probably don't like it, but I do. And they also did a cover of Elvis's song, Jailhouse Rock, which was a live track. And, you know, it was pretty good. Vince does not sound anything like Elvis at all. And, I kind of prefer, I do prefer Elvis's version to that song than that Mötley Crüe ones. But it's not bad. And, you know, Vince gets way... Okay, I'm gonna stop hating on Vince's vocals, because really, Vince is not a bad vocalist for the songs and albums that Mötley Crüe did. I think if he was trying to do, like, the grunge album, which we're going to talk about right after this, if he did that album, that would sound horrible. But for the music that Mötley Crüe makes, his vocals fit it, and it fits, and it works. Now, you try to mix Vince in with other types of music, I don't really know if that would work too well. But it works well for the Mötley Crüe sound, and it works well for the songs and the albums that Mötley Crüe makes. And now, he struggles sometimes with his vocals, which he does. He's starting to sound better, though. But, you know, it works for the albums, and it works for the songs. So I'm not going to hate on Vince's vocals like some people do, because there are some people you talk to now, and they're like, man, I hate Mötley Crüe. The only dude at Mötley Crüe that I like is Mick Mars. The rest are awful musicians, which, to that I say is, well, maybe glam metal's not for you, buddy. Alright, and which, by the way, I love glam metal, but this next album, this next album has grown on me so much. And that's number 3, the self-titled album. I mean, this thing is heavy. The guitar riffs on this are amazing, the solos. Well, yeah, the solos are pretty good, but I love the guitar riffs on this thing, the drums. You can't really hear the bass in some parts, but... well, you can in a few parts, but overall, I don't know, I feel like the guitar is louder than the bass on this one. But you've got Power to the Music, Uncle Jack, Hooligan's Holiday, Misunderstood, Love Shine, Poison Apples, Hammered, Till Death Do Us Part, my favorite song off this album. That's definitely a top 10 Mötley Crüe song right there. That is just such an underrated song, and it's so good. Welcome to the Numb, Smoke the Sky, Dropping Like Flies, Drift Away. I mean, just a strong album. I mean, this thing, I can listen to this album any day, and I totally... Someday I hope they re-release this thing on like vinyl or even on... Well, I think they still make CDs of this, but I don't know about vinyl. But I would love it if they re-release this thing on vinyl because it's amazing and it deserves to be re-released. I know some people don't like it because it's not like Mötley Crüe, but for a grunge album, which I'm a huge grunge fan, for a grunge album, this thing's amazing. And it's definitely... And that's why it's at number 3, because I'm just a huge grunge fanboy, and this thing is just amazing. You've got amazing songs on here. And Till Death Do Us Part with one of the best Mötley Crüe riffs ever. That I mean, that's amazing. I love that song. Go listen to that song. If you've never heard that song, go listen to that song. And also listen to Hooligan's Holiday and Power to the Music. Go listen to those 3 songs. Okay, so coming in at number 2. And this one almost made it to number 1. I think if you have asked me this whenever I first started listening to Mötley Crüe, this one probably would be number 1. But right now, it's at number 2, and that's Shout at the Devil. I mean, this thing is their greatest work since the next album we're going to talk about. And, bruh, the Rolling Stone gave this thing a 2 out of 5 stars. Really? I'm not surprised, though. The Rolling Stone gave like a I think it was like the first Black Sabbath album, or Paranoid, a 1 out of 5 star. And that's like the biggest, ugh, what an awful take that is. But anyways, you got In the Beginning, Shout at the Devil, Looks That Kill, a word I'm not gonna say, God Bless the Children of the Beast, Helter Skelter, Red Hot, Too Young to Fall in Love, Knock 'em Dead Kid, 10 Seconds to Love, and Danger. I mean, just a strong album. It's not even 40 minutes. I mean, this thing goes by very fast. Which, by the way, Helter Skelter's a Beatles cover. They actually do that song pretty well. I'm not a Beatles fan by any means. I'm not trying to act like I am, because I don't really like the Beatles that much. I know there's some people out there like, you know, that you don't like the Beatles, but I don't know. I just don't really like the Beatles that much. They're not for me. But I will tell you one thing. For all those longtime viewers that are like, I can't believe Gabe does not like Motorhead. I've actually changed my mind on Motorhead. I'm not overly in love with them, but I do like them now, so, yeah. Give me a greatest hit set of Motorhead. I'd be happy. But anyways, back to Mötley Crüe. Now, coming in at number 1, I mean, it's always kind of been one of my favorite ones, but now it's my number 1, which is Dr. Feelgood. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's their best-selling album, I think it's right. I could be wrong about that, let me know, but I think it's their best-selling album. I mean, you got TNT, Dr. Feelgood, Slice of Your Pie, Rattlesnake Shake, Kickstart My Heart, Without You, Same Old Situations, Sticky Sweet, She Goes Down, Don't Go Away, Mad, Just Go Away, Time for Change. I mean, I love this album. Every single song I love. I especially love the title track. That's my favorite Mötley Crüe song of all time. I still like it. And it's just very catchy. That's the good type of catchy that I like of Mötley Crüe. You know, not where it's too overly repetitive, but where it's repetitive just enough to be like, make it like a great song. Not overly repetitive like anything sung off of A Theater of Pain where it just repeats constantly. Because although Dr. Feelgood does repeat a lot, it's not annoying in my opinion. I don't think it's an annoying song. And none of these songs I don't think are annoying. But whenever you get to like Theater of Pain with it being so repetitive to the point where you're like, okay, yeah, I know how that song goes and I don't need to be reminded of it. That's not the good kind of catchy. This is the good kind of catchy. And that's why it's at number 1. So there you go. That's my Mötley Crüe discography ranking. And hope you enjoyed it. And I'm sorry I haven't really been posting recently. I've actually been working on this project now with some of my friends. We're actually forming a band. And it's called Music for the Dead. And I don't know when we're going to start recording new music, but we are doing like cover songs right now. But whenever we do like original material, I will definitely post it. So check it out whenever it comes out. I'll let you know. But yeah, it'll be out soon. And also after this, I'm going to be doing an Aussie discography ranking instead of a Deep Purple discography ranking, because you dudes love Ozzy in the polls, and I've been doing, like, I do any polls about, like, any singer or any musician, Ozzy always gets the most votes, and he always gets the most votes in, like, the Black Sabbath album polls. The albums that he, like Paranoid, you dudes obliterated Heaven and Hell and Headless Cross in that one with Paranoid. Like, I think that thing got like a 97% on one of those. That was crazy. But yeah, since you dudes love Ozzy so much, I'm going to be doing an Ozzy discography ranking right after this one. So, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you dudes later. Take care. Stay safe.